Yo, what is good, dev guys? Welcome back. In this video, we're going to set up our project and get the baseline, everything set up. So you need to navigate to the link in the description of this video to get to this Google Drive that will hold this zip file and download it. Once you download it, you need to unzip it and your folder will look a little bit something like this. The first thing we want to do is right click on this and generate the Visual Studio files. Once that's done, we'll have this SLN file. We'll right click on it and edit it with Rider or whatever IDE you may use, Visual Studio Code. That's up to you. I use Rider. It's only $14 a month for one of the best IntelliSense ever. Now, once Rider catches its bearings, I want to go to this configuration and I want to make sure that I am in a debug game editor. This is just so that when we run in debug mode, we'll be able to hit breakpoints. If you're in development editor or any one of these development configurations, you won't hit breakpoints when you're trying to debug your own code. And once we do that, we can actually go ahead and run this in debug mode. Once that builds, we'll be inside of the L shooter gem. I set this up to be the editor startup map. The reason I decided to give you guys a starter project instead of just showing how to start from scratch with the Lyra game sample project, cloning that, is because I have this asset folder that has animations and first person meshes all ready to go for us. I was going to do it in like an asset pack, but there were some errors and it was just easier to do it this way. So yeah, we got ability animations, we got animations for the hand cannon, the longbow, and the Lyra starter rifle. So save that. And I want to go into the editor preferences. And there's this thing called developer settings. The one thing I want to do is make sure that these bots can't attack me. I want to just turn that off for now. We'll turn it back on whenever we actually want to test in combat. I'm going to close this. Plugins. I'm actually going to turn on this ability system game feature actions. It's going to tell me that I need to restart, but the first thing I want to do is actually get us set up in first person camera view. So there's this class inside of here. If you don't know what I just did right now, just hit Control P in the viewport. I think you can do it anywhere. If you hit Control P inside anywhere in the editor, you'll bring up this open asset menu and you can search an asset by name. Now, I know the name of this asset because I've used it a lot. It's CM underscore third person. And this is the camera mode class, which is basically the data asset that the camera that's equipped to our player is using for things like FOV and all different types of information. Like it gets really in depth. You got collision checking, you got the offset curve, you got the, like I said, you can set up blend times for how this camera transitions to another camera or how our camera transitions to this camera, so on and so forth. So what I want to do is I want to navigate to where this actually is inside the editor or inside the project files. So I'm going to browse, and I don't want to use this third person. I just want to copy it. So I'm going to click this one and control click this one, drag it and say copy here. It's going to make a copy of those. And pretty much I just want to change these to first person. And then also change this one to first person offset curve. So go home, first person, let's save that. And another trick that we can do is when it comes to finding out where a particular asset that was already set up in Lyra game, finding out where that's used and where to change it. So I'm gonna close this down. And the way to do that is to right click on the object and say reference viewer. This will show you everywhere in the project that this asset is being referenced. And we see here is being referenced by the simple pawn data and this hero shooter game data. So this is the one that is mainly used. This is for like when you open up in that first editor window in Lyra. So I'm gonna navigate to this one. I'm gonna say edit. It's gonna open it up for me. And here in this drop down, in this camera drop down, you see we're using the camera third person. We actually want to change this to first person. And with that, we're almost ready to start testing to see if we are in first person view. The last thing we need to do is navigate to this first person curve. And we need to go ahead and set this up to be an actual first person curve. So I'm gonna take this X value, which is our forward and backwards value. I'm gonna set the time to 0 and the value to 0. And then I'm gonna grab these 2 points here as well, these 2 keys here and here, and I'm gonna set their values to 0 as well. And then I'm gonna just delete all of these other keys that are unnecessary. Now, before we actually play, we need to assign this curve to our first person camera mode. So let's go here and change this from third person to first person offset. Save that. And now when we play in the editor, your first play session might take a while because it needs to compile shaders and things like that. But don't be alarmed by the sluggishness. But if you look here, we are in first person. We're moving around in first person. The only thing is that our third person mesh is really getting in our way. It's making things look clunky. And also when we ADS here, we go back to third person. So there's a few things that we need to fix in order to get this to work in exactly how we want it to work. So in the next video, we're going to actually attack those things. We're going to set up our first person arms. We're going to set up the code that eliminates this third person model from being shown to us, the owner of this, and then just do some general project cleanup. So if you guys are ready for that, go ahead and join me in the next video and I'll see you in there. Peace.